Here's a thought from the poet Robert Browning. I walked a mile with pleasure. She chattered all the way, but left me none the wiser for all she had to say. I walked a mile with sorrow, and ne'er a word said she, but oh, the things I learned from her when sorrow walked with me. Nice, huh? Well, for a month that has only 28 days, this is a big one. I mean, besides everything going on in Ottawa, and that's a lot. We have the Olympics beginning, plus the Lunar New Year, my year, Year of the Tiger. Black History Month is underway. Groundhog Day was yesterday, whatever. And on top of that, all this week, I'm remembering my mom. Here she is with her girls. This was taken a year and a half before she left us. From left, that's youngest Leslie, then eldest Heather, dad, mom, and middle sisters Cindy and me. Mom and dad and their 4 girls, always and still their girls. It was 10 years ago today that we took Mom off life support. She suffered a fast and furious and basically fatal brain aneurysm February 1st. Then my sisters and I flew in, and on February 3rd, this day, we said our goodbyes. Tomorrow was her birthday, and she would have turned 89, but it wasn't to be. Now, I may have told you this. I know it's in Mourning Has Broken, Love, Loss, and Reclaiming Joy. But when I was sitting with my dad and sisters at Mom's bedside, I would rub her arm, and her heart rate numbers would increase. Now, I've chalked it up to static electricity or something, but it is nice to think she was having a reaction to my touch and to our being there. The way I deal with grief, the way we have to, I think, if we're going to survive or keep going at all, is with gratitude. Now, you might not think of those two things as going hand in hand, and they certainly don't at first, or for some people, ever. But for me, it's all part of moving forward, of choosing how to react, as Viktor Frankl so beautifully worded it. So how do you find gratitude in losing a parent long before you or they were ready? Well, I'm so grateful that her aneurysm took her quickly. The last thing Mom would have wanted was to be what she considered a burden to anyone. The reason she was still on life support was that we could all get there that way, for no other reason. I'm glad she didn't live to go through losing Lauren 3 years later. That would have broken her heart, and then it would have shattered further when her grandson Michael died 2 years later. I'm so glad she didn't have to deal with the rampant asshattery that has surrounded us over the past 2 years during a pandemic. Being a retired RN, she would have zero patience for those who wouldn't help their fellow person by wearing a mask, keeping their distance, getting their shots. You think it burns my biscuits? Oh, my mom would have had none of it. Plus, with asthma and a heart condition, a positive COVID diagnosis could have meant a painful and lingering death for her. So yeah, there are things to be grateful for, always, even in having to say goodbye to such an amazing role model. She wasn't perfect, but the best of me comes from the best of her. And the rest of me, like my sense of humor, well, that's mostly Dad. When I talked to him on Thursday, I asked him how he was doing, and he said, well, I'm not sure. I've never been this age before. He's always got a smile and an easy laugh. By the way, if you have Netflix and haven't yet watched Ricky Gervais' beautiful, vulgar, funny, visceral take on loss called Afterlife, you are really missing out. The series, 3 very brief seasons, has just wrapped up for good, so settle in and enjoy. As a take on grief, it's, if you'll pardon the pun, dead on, and has resonated with millions around the world, including Rob and me. See, that's the thing about sharing. When you're real, whether it's through humor or tears, through the written word or a 2-minute TikTok video, what comes from the heart goes to the heart. From my heart, I wish you a gentle first weekend of February and wish the best of luck and all the Tiger energy to our athletes in Beijing. The obstacles they've faced, even getting there, have been medal-worthy. We were tense just trying to get to our cruise in November. With all of the hurdles, would we pass this test and the next one and the last one before we boarded? Now add to that having to be the absolute best your country has to offer on blades or ski boards or skis or whatever they're called, whatever. Snowboards, I know. Amazing. Enjoy it all, and I'll be back with you on Monday. Go Canada!